What's up guys? Today I'm going to be talking all about Ripple Labs and XRP, and yes, those are two separate things, and I'll go over the two of them, and I'll also share some important features that revolve around these two, such as XRapid and XCurrent. So let me start off by talking about Ripple Labs. So Ripple Labs is a company, and their goal is to create a better, faster, more reliable payment solution for banks and their customers by integrating blockchain technology. Ripple Labs is the company responsible for creating XRP, the cryptocurrency. They're both two different things that still happen to have the same name, which isn't very confusing at all, right? So before I get into what I want to talk about today, let me just say that I am not a financial advisor. I also am not holding any XRP, and I am not being compensated for talking about this video. So with that being said, let's get to it. So let's go ahead and talk about XRP, the cryptocurrency. So XRP has a max supply of 100 billion coins, and that might seem intimidating at first, but this isn't the actual supply that is circulating between exchanges and investors. Right now, there's only a total of almost 40 billion XRP tokens in circulation. That only makes up 40% of coins going around out of the whole 100 billion. Ripple cannot be mined the way Bitcoin can. Instead, the rest of the supply is locked up in escrow, where Ripple, the company, not to be confused with XRP Ripple, the currency, will be able to distribute up to 1 billion coins a month for 55 months. So this doesn't necessarily mean that Ripple will distribute everything each month. Whatever amount they did not distribute will go back into escrow, and the amount will be put back into escrow rotation. So an example would be if XRP distributed or sold 700 million tokens, and then the remainder 300 million would be placed in the back of the line, where another month will be added to the rotation of these tokens. So XRP, the cryptocurrency, is known and criticized for being a heavily centralized currency in more ways than Ripple, the company, and the founders having such a large stake. The three founders appointed themselves 20 billion XRP tokens, making up 20% of the total supply. It was even said that Ripple, the company, had the ability to freeze anybody's funds for any reason, but that turned out to be false. XRP uses its own consensus called Ripple Consensus Algorithm. And here, let me pull that up real quick. Alright, so basically what that means is nodes that they have set up in the Ripple network, they actually work together rather than compete against each other. XRP needs a group of validators to agree with each other on a set of transactions to apply a transaction on a ledger. This protocol needs a minimum of 80% consensus to update the ledger. To update the ledger, you would need 4 out of 5 people saying, yes, this is true, and this is how consensus for XRP pretty much works. Ripple at some point had control of 100% of these validators, but in an effort to make the cryptocurrency more decentralized, they decided that for every 2 third-party validators that were added to the network, they would get rid of 1. So that's a plan for them to make the network more decentralized as interest grows in XRP. It was pretty recent that Ripple drops under 50% of XRP ledger's unique node list. Those are the validators that they use to keep the network secure. Now, as far as developers go, developers working on XRP, the majority of that is still worked on Ripple Labs. So the thing that I found interesting is that there's no reward incentive for keeping the network secure. Instead, if you try to run a malicious validator, you can lose trust from other validators, and your validator won't be chosen to update the ledger. This method can be pretty technical, so if you want to know more about it, I'll leave some links and a video explaining how that works in the description for you. XRP transactions are pretty quick, being able to reach as high as 1500 transactions per second, with transactions settling in about 4 seconds with a very, very small fee, is a pretty big deal for cryptocurrencies, because this is actually pretty scalable and it can compete with other payment solutions like Visa and MasterCard, being a cryptocurrency and all. But the biggest downside to this was that for a long time Ripple just had control of all of these nodes, and they were pretty much in control of what went into the ledger. So let's take a look at this. This is a graph of XRP dominance in validators. So as the green represents non-Ripple validators and the black is Ripple. So throughout early 2017 all the way to this year, pretty much when Ripple started, they had full control of all the validators, and then they started losing control little by little starting in June, where until now they actually have less than 50% of the validators that are securing the network. So although Ripple didn't start out decentralized the way traditional cryptocurrencies start out, it is clear that they are trying to make an effort to make their cryptocurrency more decentralized so it can meet the criteria that people want. So aside from having such a large stake in XRP Ripple, the actual network itself is becoming more and more decentralized over time. So let's step away from XRP the currency and talk about Ripple the company. So as I said before, Ripple is looking to target the finance industry. They want to have banks process payments faster and cheaper and more reliable using blockchain technology. And you might think that they're talking about XRP the currency, but that's not actually the case. Alright, so over here, Ripple came up with a blockchain network solution called XCurrent. And this allows banks to instantly settle cross-border payments. So banks can send money anywhere around the world with XCurrent blockchain technology. And with this enterprise software solution, you actually don't need XRP the currency. Normally banks would use Swift, and Swift doesn't actually transfer money. Instead, they send payment orders to different correspondents to fill the order that is needed. It's pretty much a secure messaging network. It starts off with you. You want to send money to Rico, and Rico lives in Germany. So Swift interacts with you, then Swift will correspond with your bank, and then your bank's correspondent. After that, it'll go to Rico's bank's correspondent, to Rico's bank, and then to Rico. And that's how the process. This is why the process is so slow. XCurrent will actually speed up the process and lower costs immensely. XCurrent acts as an on-demand process payment system, and that's great for banks. But XRP isn't. XRP isn't a part of this process. All these partnerships that Ripple the company is making isn't actually with XRP the cryptocurrency. It's with Ripple, the company behind XRP. So you might be wondering, well, where does XRP come in? XRP actually comes in with Ripple's next payment solution. XRP would pretty much be the instrument that XRapid will use. XRapid will provide the liquidity for banks if they choose to use XRP the currency to send and receive payments. So payments into emerging markets require a pre-funded local currency account around the world. Liquidity costs can be pretty high, and banks need liquidity to process these payments. XRapid will allow you to convert fiat currency into XRP, and then the banks will transfer that XRP to your beneficiary's bank. Then they will convert that XRP into your beneficiary's currency. So an example would be if I wanted to send money and my bank uses XRapid. Let's pretend I want to send $100 to Tom. And Tom, now he lives in Japan. The bank would convert my $100 into XRP, transfer the XRP to Tom's bank, and then convert the XRP into Japanese yen. And the process would actually be very quickly. The bank wouldn't really be holding this XRP for long. The process is very quick, secure, and cheap, and XRapid is pretty much meant as an upsell for XCurrent. It's like when you go to the store and you want to buy a new computer because your computer is outdated. You pick out the computer you want, and the salesman upsells you into getting a solid state drive for your computer. You've made an upgrade to an upgrade. So you might think that banks using XRP to transfer money is good, but here's the thing. The banks won't be holding any XRP like I said before. They would only hold on to the currency for the minimum amount of time. Not only that, Ripple isn't the only company coming up with blockchain solutions for banks. There's this company called R3, and they're pretty much doing the same thing as Ripple, except they don't have their own currency, and Swift isn't really impressed or concerned with Ripple's progress. So Swift pretty much responded with, if we really want to, we'll just integrate blockchain technology with our existing system. And it makes you think that what if they just made their own blockchain solution? Like, what's to stop them from doing so? Well, Swift did release something called Global Payments Innovation Initiative, and it's pretty much doing exactly what XCurrent is aiming to do. This shows that Swift is also trying to improve a system that is outdated. It's not just leaving it to other new technologies to get into what they want to fix. So this shows that Swift is also trying to improve a system that is outdated. Whether it's better or not is irrelevant, because chances are that these two methods will probably just coexist together in the financial sector. You can have payments using blockchain solutions, or you can have more traditional systems working to do your payment needs. Overall, they both have their pros and cons. So recently there was a conference that included former President Bill Clinton, and Ripple will not be releasing the session they had with Bill Clinton. Instead, here's an article that I found, and to me, I feel like having Bill Clinton be a keynote speaker was more of a publicity stunt than anything else. I would really like to know his views on cryptocurrencies and blockchain solution. Does he actually support it, and does he actually believe in it? Also, why Ripple? Why? It seems to me that Ripple is the one trying to acquire these strategic partnerships with celebrities to make their brand look more enticing. So Ripple the company seems to have a lot of power and influence as they dig deeper into the financial sector. Here, I pulled up this article here. So lack of regulation guidelines has left a lot of confusion between Ripple and security laws. These confusions have brought different lawsuits against Ripple, claiming that they violated state and federal security laws. Ripple has even had former SEC officials represent them in XRP lawsuits, so that's definitely something worth noting. But even through all of that, overall, I still think that what Ripple the company is doing is actually a pretty good thing. Ripple the company has so much to look forward to, and that they're actually progressing well as a company. They do have real solutions to improve issues that the financial sector is facing. Their project XRP is still a work in progress, and it still has a long way to go. The Ripple team has proven that blockchain technology can improve a lot of things, but it has yet to be seen if XRP, the currency, can take off the way Ripple, the company, is. XRP is just a tool, but it's not even the most important tool Ripple has come up with. So you really need to decide for yourself, is XRP really worth all the hype that's going on right now? Is it actually going to change the financial sector? Well, that's pretty much something that you have to come up with, but that's pretty much it for me. If you found any of this useful, be sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. In the bottom, go ahead and comment what you guys think about XRP, or if there's anything you want me to cover in a future video. Alright, thanks guys.